College Football 25 is on the horizon, so today I'm going to be diving into the new gameplay trailer, giving my full thoughts and analysis. As a disclaimer, I want to mention that I'm not sponsored by EA, so this review will be completely unbiased and honest. We will take a closer look at the features showcased in the trailer, such as graphics, player models, new stadiums, as well as the new gameplay mechanics. It's clear that the developers have put a lot of time and effort into making this game as authentic as possible, so I'm going to try and cover all the new features to make sure you guys don't miss out on anything. College Football 25 is shaping up to be one of the best games of the year, and I can't wait to get my hands on it to experience all the new features for myself. So with that being said, let's get into the analysis. The first thing I want to go over is the graphics, and damn do they look good. The attention to detail and the character designs and environment is just stunning. Just look at this clip of Jackson Arnold. We can see his jersey looks absolutely phenomenal, and the undershirt sticking out from under his pads is a new level of detail that we've never seen in a football game before. If we take a deeper look at this clip, we can see the knee pads above the knees, which is a feature we've all wanted for years, so that is really exciting to see. One thing that has me worried about this clip though is Jackson Arnold just appears way too dark. Like, that does not look like Jackson Arnold, so I don't know if that's a shading issue or what EA needs to fix on that end, but I don't even know what to say to that. Hopefully this isn't too much of an issue, and I don't expect it to be, but it does leave me a little bit worried that some of the players are not going to look nearly as realistic as we expect. Hopefully it's just an issue with the shading or something in this clip in particular. In other clips throughout the trailer, we can see how detailed the game truly is, with hoodies under the jerseys, turf tape, spats, and many other accessories that we've been asking for years, looking just absolutely phenomenal. The mascots look great, the players look great, and it really feels like EA finally listened to the fans and gave us what we wanted with this one. The next thing I wanted to go over is the stadiums, and I gotta give it to EA. It looks like they did a really good job covering all the little details that make each stadium unique. The colors are vibrant, the lighting is realistic, and the overall atmosphere of college football really seems to come to life. As someone who's been to many games at DKR, I can tell you in this clip right here, the stadium looks phenomenal. The attention to detail and realism, with shade only covering half the stadium, couldn't be more accurate. I could also be completely wrong on this, but to me it feels like a much wider camera angle is used, and I really like this because it makes it feel like you're really in the stadium, enveloped by the crowd. It sort of feels claustrophobic and makes you feel like you're truly in the game. In Madden, it kind of seems like the crowd in the stadium is an afterthought and doesn't really serve any importance to the game, so I'm really glad to see that EA has taken a different approach to stadiums in College Football 25 to truly bring the college atmosphere that we're all looking for. The new Stadium Pulse feature truly exemplifies this concept and shows us that EA is working to make sure that not every stadium feels the same, and how the stadium you play in can have a real effect on the game. While I think this feature is awesome, I have one concern about it, and it's that players might abuse it. I could totally see people using teams like Penn State or Michigan just to get an advantage over their opponent, and that could get really annoying. But who knows, maybe it won't be an issue. I'm just hoping I don't have to play in 5 straight Penn State whiteout games the first day the game drops in July. The next thing I want to talk about is arguably the most important, and it's the new gameplay mechanics and animations. I think they're a huge upgrade from the ones we're used to seeing in Madden games, and hopefully they make the game feel more realistic and fluid. Just by taking a look at this clip of Ollie Gordon, we can see that he does a little stutter step right before he does his spin move, and I know that Madden has tried to implement this in the past, but it seems like their mechanic is always clunky, it just never works right, whereas this on the other hand feels much more natural, and hopefully moves like this feel good to execute once the game is released. In this clip we can see the new toe tap catches with one foot going with the college rules, and I think this is an awesome way to pay attention to detail and differentiate between Madden games and college games. Another animation I really liked was this hurdle and how the player sort of falls forward instead of just being stopped midair or doing a flip or something like that we're used to in Madden. This looks much more realistic, and I think animations like this are what Madden has been missing for years, so that's really cool to see. In this segment, we can see how the options are going to work, and I think they look really good. I love how last second the toss to the running back is, and I'm really excited to use this when the game drops. In this segment, we also see Donovan Edwards breaking a tackle, and I don't even know how to describe it, but it just looks so much better than what we have seen in any previous Madden game. It doesn't seem like the players' movements are based on animations, but more of a physics engine, which is what many of us have been asking for years. The next thing I want to go over is the new wear and tear mechanic, and it's probably the feature that I'm most on the fence about. While I do think it'll add a new layer of difficulty and realism to the game, I can already imagine it getting annoying as hell. We'll have to wait and see how much it actually affects gameplay, but I know for a fact I'm going to be pissed if my QB is getting hurt every time someone decides to tickle his fucking elbow. Besides that, I think it's really cool how detailed they are trying to make the injuries, with the severities and likelihoods varying widely. I also think it's awesome how the players progressively get more dinged up throughout the game. I'm going to be excited to see how this affects the game plans that players use, because you won't be able to just run the ball down your opponent's throat 50 times a game without risking the health of your running back. Now I want to talk about the new player abilities, and it seems like EA is really taking their time with these, with 80 in-game abilities announced, which is honestly just a crazy number, and I'm sure there will be more to come as the game progresses. I think this will really differentiate the players that play for small schools and those that play for big programs by adding another type of skill or attribute that isn't necessarily related to a player's overall. The only thing I'm worried about with these new abilities is that they will become OP and just get abused. People might start abusing them just like they did in previous Maddens, particularly Ultimate Team, with abilities such as Escape Artist or Gunslinger just constantly being used online. The main thing that makes me feel this way is that we see a lot of the same abilities that are already in Madden. We can see Ball Hawk, we see Field General, like here's the clip of the Ball Hawk with Will Johnson. So I don't know, I mean I hope they make them different, but if they're the exact same as Madden, that might not be the greatest thing for us. Overall though, I think this is a great addition to the game, and I think it'll make each player truly feel unique, which is something that has sort of been missing in football games in the past. I'm hoping that the abilities are very particular and only a very certain set of players can get each one, because in Madden, it's sort of that way, but for the most part, it sort of feels like every running back plays the same. Some might be a little quicker, stronger, etc., but they all can kind of get relatively the same abilities, especially when it comes to Ultimate Team and they come out with all these crazy jacked up cards. I'm hoping these new abilities fix this issue to where two running backs such as Ollie Gordon and Amarion Hampton, while they're both absolute dogs, feel different to use and have their own individual pros and cons and little quirks and things about their game that are different. The new playbook variety contributes to this concept, and I think it'll do a great job at setting teams apart and making them actually feel different from one another. I love how the trailer explains this and shows how you will be able to run different schemes and playbooks depending on which school you use, which is very realistic to how college football actually is. I'm excited to see how much this actually affects gameplay, and I'm kind of hoping that you can't just switch to another school's playbook or scheme to fit your playstyle, much like you can in Madden, where you can just switch to the Ravens playbook or the Chargers playbook whenever you want to. Now we can talk about the new revamped quote-unquote passing, and while I do have to say the passes in this trailer look much better with, I think it's this throw right here. The way it arcs over the receiver, I really like that. But I'm not sure how this is actually going to look or feel when the game is actually released, because it seems like EA has told us every year they've revamped the passing mechanisms, and rarely does it seem to make any improvement. So while I'm hoping they've made improvements and the passes in the trailer do look extremely promising, it's hard for me to have faith in them actually delivering. I don't know, I guess we'll have to see once the game comes out. Finally, I'm just going to generally speak about things such as the team selection screen, the scoreboards, and the game modes. First, for the team selection screen, I think they look really cool. I like the way the game shows a helmet rather than just the boring old team logos that we're used to in Madden. I also really like the little individual details shown at the bottom of the screen below the helmets. I think this adds individuality to each team, though I'm not exactly sure what these things mean, if anything, so if anyone knows, maybe you could clarify in the comments. Now for the scoreboards, I don't think they did anything special, but I do think they're a slight upgrade from the ones we're used to seeing in Madden. They seem like scoreboards that might actually be used on TV, whereas the Madden ones don't. And I also really like the way the mascot name is shadowed in the background behind the logo and the team's names. Overall, I think these look really clean, and I think they're an upgrade from what we're used to seeing. Last but not least, I'm going to give a slight rundown on the confirmed game modes so far, which are Road to Glory, Dynasty, Team Builder, Ultimate Team, and Road to the College Football Playoffs. I think Road to Glory will be a really fun game mode to play, but the fact that it doesn't start in high school sort of ruins it for me, I'm not going to lie. In previous college football games, I had a lot of fun being able to play high school, get offers, trying to become the best recruit that you could be. So with this element missing, it's kind of a letdown, and I'm wondering how the game mode will actually be. I'm hoping it doesn't disappoint too much. Dynasty is the mode that I'm most excited for, as it's the one that I had the most fun playing with in previous college football games, and I'm super excited to recruit players, build up my program. I'm wondering how similar this mode will be to how it was in the past. I've been missing it for years and years, as I'm sure many of you have, so I'm hoping it lives up to the immense hype that it's around. Team Builder is another mode that I'm very excited to see make a return, and it's something that many people have wanted to be added back to Madden for many years, so it's exciting to see it return in this game. I used to have a blast creating new rosters, uniforms, stadiums, logos, all that in the games in the past, so I'm hoping this new edition will be even better. In past modes, you were only able to select from a preset list of stadiums or uniforms or mascots, so I'm hoping this mode sort of brings the online element to life and allows players to upload their own images and creations, sort of like we see in games such as 2K. Now for Ultimate Team, I'm sure we're all familiar with it, so I'm not going to go into much detail there, but another mode that sounds really interesting to me is the Road to the College Football Playoffs, and it seems to be the ranked online mode of the game, which I'll definitely be playing a lot of. I'm glad they're adding this mode because it will be able to give players a way to play competitively online without being forced to play Ultimate Team, which I feel like in previous Madden games has sort of been the case. There's a competitive scene in ranked play online, but it really doesn't seem to be at the same level that Ultimate Team is. The mode will have ranked levels, sort of usual to how we see in other games. Bronze is the lowest, all the way up to platinum or legend or whatever they're going to call it. And the schools are going to be placed in a tier system, which is also pretty typical. So overall, I think this mode looks really promising, and I'm hoping it makes the online gameplay a lot more fun. With all that being said, I'm super excited for this game to come out, as I'm sure many of you are as well. Let me know what you think of my thoughts and analysis in the comments down below, anything we disagree on or anything I might have missed. If you made it this far through the video, thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe so that you can stay tuned for more updates and in-depth analysis as we get closer to the game's release date.